Hello and welcome to today's software demonstration of Infor Cloud Suite Industrial. My name is Paul Clifford and I'm a solution consultant here today at Infor. And I'm excited to show you our lead to cash process. So to kick it off, let's just kind of give you a game plan of what we're going to be looking at today in the software. So we're going to break up into two different sections. Um, First being the CRM and sales order management section, where we're going to take a campaign, um, actually generate a lead, create an opportunity. Based on that, we'll establish a forecast. We'll show you how that's done. Give the customer or prospect a quote, and then based on their decision, ultimately give them a customer order. In multiple different ERP systems, this is business processes in Fluent. With Infor, we have all that information stored in one single unified platform. So that enables you to get all their information that's relevant for your company into the people's hands that need to use it on a day-to-day basis. Now, for the second portion, we're going to be primarily worried about the things that impact your financials. So once we ship out the customer order, we'll send out an invoice and post it. And then finally, we'll go ahead and collect the payment from our customer and then hit our GL. So let's go ahead and jump into the first portion, which is going to be talking about our campaigns. So this is for the marketing section of your company. You can create campaigns within the system here. So the one that we're going to be looking at today is an Atlanta trade show. And you're able to store contacts, campaign items that you're going to be specifically bringing to the trade show or marketing to your potential customers. And then once maybe you have an iPad or some kind of form to go ahead and input leads, we'll generate here in the system. You'll get a list of all the leads generated. So that's nice because now you're able to track how effective that that campaign actually was. So from a marketing perspective, you establish how much revenue and how much this campaign is going to cost you, and kind of what's the outcome of it. And then ultimately, since we are in that single unified system, you're going to get your information about how many leads were generated, opportunities, and then also opportunities to create a deal. What that enables you to do is give you a decision to keep on using this campaign, maybe next year when you go to that trade show, or based on the results for this particular year, the opportunity value is 85,000. The campaign cost was 15. We're expecting 100, so maybe you go back to drawing board. Maybe you think, is there a different way that we can go ahead and allocate this money to effectively market our products better? So those are just type of decisions you can make with this type of information. So let's go ahead and jump into one of these leads and see where it takes us. So we're going to be able to drill down into this list. It's not a static list. You can actually go right into it. And we're taking a look at a lead here. And they were looking for bikes for resale. Notice that one of these opportunities has actually been gone through, but it looks like there's a big opportunity for them to sell. And we don't necessarily have all the information on it just yet, but it looks like we can go ahead and find something for them. Now you'll see other tabs here such as estimates, orders, estimate projects, and projects. This just shows the progression of where that lead is and kind of the status of it. So before we jump into the opportunity, let's just go ahead and take a look at who we're going to be selling to today and what company they work for. So it's going to be Bonnie Price, and she works at Coordinated Bikes. So we can take a look at Coordinated Bikes just to get an idea of what kind of company they are, where they're at. Maybe we have someone in their hometown that we can go ahead and talk to about them. It looks like they're out of Elkhart, Indiana. And also, if you have a prospect form or whatnot, it'll have company information such as expected revenue for that company, the number of employees to see if they really qualify to be a good prospect. Great. We'll go ahead and jump back into our opportunity form here. Okay. So now we're on the opportunity form. And when you create an opportunity in the system, it's going to bring all the information over, such as the lead, who the potential prospect or customer is. In that case, it's Coordinated Bikes, and all the contact information. So, but if you have multiple contacts, it'll also give you the option to select those. So it's kind of intuitive, and based on who you're talking to, you go ahead and select that. And the information for the campaign is automatically going to be put in there. But if there is a different campaign it actually came from, go ahead and select that. So that's important because when I talked about the campaigns and looking at the ROI on that, this is the information that's going to, stem that. So this opportunity right now is active and it's in the qualifying stage. And let's just talk about the qualifying stage. Based on, we call it P1 through 6, process 1 through 6, this will determine the close percentage of the particular deal. And why that's important, you'll see down here, this is 25%, is based off the estimated value of the proposed opportunity. That'll give you a forecast for that particular month, quarter, or year. So in this case, we'd want to put in, a projected close date of 11/30/2017 because it is the month of November right now. And that's going to go ahead and update the forecast for this particular month. Now, if we were to look at our tasks, this is where you'd go ahead and allocate a task to maybe one of your sales reps. So in this case, we are Cole Randall, the Vice President of Sales. We probably wouldn't be doing day-to-day tasks with sales, but if we want to create one for one of our colleagues, go ahead and tell them follow up. Task type, going to be a phone call. And the owner could be any of the employees you want to go ahead and put it to. And we'll just go ahead and put ourselves on it for now. But what this will do is if you're integrated with your Outlook or email system, it'll give them a notification via email. And in addition, on their homepage, they'll get a task reminder that they have an open opportunity. So you can select that this is, a mandatory thing to do for follow-up. The due date we'll say is today. And since we're going to go ahead and kind of progress the story, Cole Randall is actually going to go ahead and do the follow-up call. Great, so we'll go ahead and save that. This creates accountability within the system for your sales team so that you're making sure that opportunities aren't lost due to just stagnation. Okay, so we can take a look at the items that they were particularly interested in. It looks like the KC100, which is a kit carrier. And based off of the products we were marketing at the trade show, they were also looking at a bicycle with a 26-inch frame, and they were just looking at one. So the estimated value of this particular unit is $400. What I'm going to go ahead and do is update our opportunity value to 500 based on that. And we're going to go ahead and follow up with our customer there. Now, if you want to have a log of all the transactions or maybe interactions you've had with your potential customer or prospects, you can go ahead and do that quite simply. And we'll go to our customer form here, and you can go ahead and click interactions, and then just tell them exactly what you did on that phone call, email, so on and so forth. Nice thing about the email is if you're integrated, you can actually send emails directly from this page instead of going into, per se, your Outlook and sending it out there. And actually, when they respond back, you'll get a notification on your dashboard homepage that'll tell you, you receive an email back from customer Coordinated Bikes. Okay, let's go back to our opportunities. So on our phone call with our customer Coordinated Bikes, they want to go ahead and get an estimate for only one of the products. They're not interested in the kit carrier anymore. They only want to get a estimate for the FA 10,000, which is that bicycle. So we'll go ahead and create that for them. Clicking the estimates button, it brings us over into the estimates page. And once this screen loads, you'll notice that all the information about that prospect or customer has already been input in there. So the estimate number we're going to leave blank because the system's automatically going to create that for us. We're just going to save this real quick just to show you how that works. And let's say, Cole Randall wants to know what his estimates are. So he has a special prefix. These are completely customizable. So if you want to put CR in the front of that estimate number just to know exactly where his estimates are as opposed to others and make it easier to find, you can go ahead and do that. So now we're going to drill down into the actual line items. Now you can create multiple line items so that on each of these, customers or sales orders, you can have multiple products and you can actually get different discounts on the products and the contracts are going to be applicable. But for the case of this story, let's go ahead and put in that FA 10,000 unit. And you're going to notice all the information about the unit is automatically going to be input into this estimate. So notice the unit price was input. The sales discount for our particular customer prospect that we're working with gets 5.5%. And that's based on, the contract details that we have with them. So they're only looking for one particular product. And now we're getting the net price of what they'd pay if they went ahead and did it right now. So it'd be 306.18 with that sales discount. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save this. So now we have that estimate. Now I'm going to quickly run our APS planning, which in the background is going to run our demand planning. And this is going to tell us whether or not the product's available or when it'll be available in the future. So why is that important? Well, for a lot of our customers, they want to know, we have a specific date in mind that we want to get our product, or B, we want to get it as soon as possible. So right now it looks like the due date we had designed is 1 week from today. So, we could change that easily. So they probably don't want to get it on a Saturday. No one's going to be working at the receiving dock. So let's actually change that to Friday. Okay. Now notice on the right hand side here we have a couple different columns that are highlighted, or I should say in blue, and a couple that are grayed out. What we're going to be looking at is the get ATP, and that stands for available to promise. So we've selected a demand planning module, APS Infinite, which allows us to get the available to promise and ultimately service our customers in a better fashion. Now, it's telling us with this green check mark that based on the inventory we have on hand or based on the production schedule we can go ahead and put out, we can promise this order will get there by November 10th. And let's take a look at that. So the plan detail just tells us, oh, we're using inventory we already have on hand. And if you want to get quantities and see exactly what we're doing, yeah, we have over 1,500 available, so we're just going to use one of those and give them their one bike, no problem. But it's one thing to note, if you were manufacturing the products and you didn't have any on hand, maybe you're doing just in time, your plan details would go ahead and show that for you. So let's go ahead and accept this available to promise. And notice the projected date was just put in there. So the customer or prospect is going to get a notification when you send this out that this is the projected date based on our demand plan. All right, so now we're done with our estimate. And instead of working, we're going to go ahead and click quoted. And that just tells our system we've sent out the quote to our potential customer prospect. Okay. So for the case of this story, we're just going to go ahead and progress it. And we talk to Coordinated Bicycles. They've received the quote, whether it be fax, email, or maybe an integrated EDI because they're a big customer. And they want to go ahead and continue this to a sales order, customer order. So our system's pretty intuitive, and we can just click this button, copy estimates, and create a customer order right from that. So notice the information for the estimates right over here. The customer order that's going to go into is a regular customer order. You can make it very specific, such as an estimate or a blanket customer order. And then create the customer order number. So if you have something in mind, maybe Cole Randall wants to make it CR111, he can do that. But we're not so interested in that. We'll just let the system do that for us. Okay, so the copy was successful. And notice the estimate went from being DE48 to now DC430. All right, so let's just kind of rehash what we just did. We took a look at our campaigns from that Atlanta trade show and took a look at all the leads, the revenue and opportunity value of that. Went to the leads form, saw that Coordinated Bicycle had an opportunity for a sale. So on that opportunity, we followed up. We got our forecast based on, the potential close of that opportunity. Went to an estimate, and then based on that estimate, they liked what they saw with that 5.5% discount, and then we turned it into a customer order. Now, if I weren't actually talking through this, we could have probably gotten through that entire process in a mere, minute or two. On top of that, we actually got the available to promise. We saw, our ability to either manufacture the product or just take what we had on hand, or even, if it's dropship, we could have done that as well. So we do have that ability on the back end. And since our demand planning is very strong, you're going to get a very accurate available to promise, which leads to more customer success and less late shipments. Okay. So for the second portion of the demonstration today, we're going to go ahead and take that customer sales order that we just went ahead and processed, and then go through order shipping, where we're going to send it out to the customer, and then do the invoice, post it, and then collect payment from our customer. So I'm going to close out a couple of our tabs here, just so that we can be more concise. And we just went ahead and processed that estimate. Let's jump into our customer or sales order, depending on what you call it. All right. So now you're looking at the customer order. We can see they ordered a quantity of 1 for that price. On our general tab, it's going to tell us where we're shipping out our inventory to them. And then based on, the integrations or carriers you use, we can actually have UPS, FedEx, or even, a 3PL have their information in our shipping portion, which gives you better visibility to, where in the process this is. Now, the source will tell you where this inventory is coming from. So this one's actually coming from a stock location that we have on hand, but it might be a job where we actually create it, a purchase order where we're actually purchasing it and then shipping it directly to them. It could be a multitude of different reasons. Drop ship, if the customer has been set up for drop shipments, you can get create a PO in our system, which can be actually automatically created from our customer order here, and then drop ship it right from the vendor to that customer. And then lastly, the amounts. So the extended price here, and our cost to build it. Okay. So we were looking at the customer order lines. Let's just look at the customer order. I'm going to click on the General tab, and I just want to point out the lead information is there, the opportunity information is there, and kind of going back to that discussion we had on campaigns, all that information is going to be transferred over from your lead, opportunity, estimate, customer order to the shipment, as well as the invoice. So you get full visibility to where this is in the process. Okay. Now, since on the estimate level we already got the available promise, we don't need to do it here. Okay, so right now it's in ordered status. And the next thing that we need to do in this process is actually ship out our inventory. So following along our little business process flow here, we'll go to our order shipping document. Now, the number of that customer order was DC430, I believe. We'll filter down to it. Whoops, there we go. All right, and from a shipping perspective, say we are someone on the dock station. It's telling us that we have quantity available of almost 1,500. That's great because the quantity we need to ship out is only one. We got that on hand. We're going through the very expedited process to show you, this is the shipment. But in the case you're actually, on the shipping dock, we have pick, pack, and ship lists. You can go ahead and attach your BOL to it. You can put your packing list in there. And this is just going to give you a better idea for people working down in the DCs, the distribution centers, exactly where to, put the products in a certain location based on lot, or even just, on the loading dock. But for today's purposes, we're going to kind of speed through the process to get through everything. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and process that shipment, and it's going to tell us that it successfully posted a shipping transaction. Okay, go ahead and close out this here. So the next step in our business process flow is, now that the shipment's been sent out, we can send out an invoice. Good old FOB terms. All right, so a very easy way to go ahead and process invoices is you can do one at a time, or you can actually just do a bunch of them. In this case, you have the capability to do both on this screen. And we're just going to make sure that going through all this information here, yes, we're creating an invoice. The invoice is going to be for today. Type's going to be standard. If you had a specific one for a client, maybe they want a certain feel or want to have it in a specific format, you can go ahead and create that. And then just how they're going to see it. So it's going to be the customer item, then item. So in this case, the customer that we're working with actually has a customer item name for the item we're shipping them. So we actually put that in our system, and that's how they're going to see it. So the customer order number was not DC420, it was DC430. And it's important to make sure that your ending number is not smaller than your starting number. We'll go ahead and process that invoice. It's telling us that it'll be performed. And now the invoice has been processed. Now it hasn't been posted, it's just been processed. That's important to know. And you can do there are different ways you can automate that process, but in a lot of cases, companies want to review everything they're sending out before it's actually given to the customer and to avoid a lot of headaches. So we'll go ahead and check that out. So we're going to filter to our customer, Coordinated Bikes here. And it's going to tell us all the outstanding invoices that have been processed. So we're actually going to click Control 2 here and just to get a better idea of which orders or invoices we want to look at. And notice we have that order information here. So we were looking at DC 430 and it looks like it's on invoice 457. That's great. So now we have that invoice here. And like I said, it's been processed. It hasn't been posted. So we need to go ahead and do that. And the distribution is going to DC 430. So it's already done that for us. Okay. So we're processing, or we're going to go ahead and print this. And it's telling us invoice 457 is going to be posted to customer number 1. Great. And now we've posted that invoice, and that's going to hit our GL. Pretty simple. Now, in the case that you have multiple invoices that have been processed but haven't been posted yet, you could just go ahead and clear out the invoice number there to make it less filtered. Click process, and then you'll get a list of anything that hasn't been posted yet. I'll go ahead and click and see if there are any ones that haven't been posted. And it looks like there are quite a few invoices that haven't been posted, and notice that here. But in that case, if you want to go ahead and commit all these and post them, you could, so you don't have to do them one by one. Just a way to simplify and make the process a little quicker. All right. So our customer has received their shipment. They've gone ahead and received the invoice. They're good with everything. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the actual payment. So we're going to filter to our customer here. And we're getting a aging report for everything they have outstanding, whether it be, credits or just outstanding invoices. And you're getting that aging report here. So it looks like current 473, nothing in between 31 to 120 days, which is good. That means they're not, paying things late. But unfortunately, it looks like there's a little over $1,600 of payments that haven't been paid. So you'd probably want to set up a reminder or an aging report that'll go to an accounts receivable analyst that'll tell them, we need to contact XYZ customer, in this case, Coordinated Bikes, to go ahead and collect that money. All right. So we're looking at invoice 457. We post that invoice today and its due date based on the terms you've negotiated with your prospect or customer. In this case, it's net 30. So the original amount was for 327.61, but remember there was that discount. And if they pay early, we can get them, it looks about, a little over $12 discount if they pay early. And that could be like a net, if they pay within 10 days, it can maybe like a 3% discount. That kind of looks like the case here, maybe 4%. So let's go ahead and take a look at that by creating a quick payment. And the customer is actually going to go ahead and send us a check. So let's go ahead and filter through that. All right, so the customer sends us a check, or maybe it's an EFT payment. There are a couple different payments you can make. Let's not go ahead and look at that yet. It could be a draft, wire, direct debit. We have credit card processing as well. It's just a couple different options. In this case, we're just going to do check because it's just easy to think about it in a very visual way. And the check number they're working with is number 123. We're going to click a deposit date. And since they paid early and we're just thinking we have a check in front of us. We're looking at that check. That's going to be for $315.36. $315.36. We're going to save this check. Okay. So notice now that we save it, we have all the different options to go ahead and apply for these different invoices that have been sent out. So take a look at our amount applied and remaining fields. When I click this invoice, it's going to go ahead and automatically apply it for us. Now, since I've put in that 315, 336, it automatically told us that we have zero balance remaining. Now, if I had zero in there, notice you're going to get a negative. So it's kind of doing that mental math for us. Now we're going to go ahead and click apply. Great. The payment distribution was created. All right, so now we've processed the distribution, and now we just want to go ahead and post this payment. And we're taking a look at that check here that we received today, number 123. Go to our payment posting, type in our check number, or maybe it's just the customer, and just give you an idea of what would happen if we just selected our customer instead of putting in our check number. It'll print any of the checks or payments we received that we haven't posted yet. In this case, it looks like only the one that we were working with today. And now we're ready to commit that, and the payment will be posted and it'll hit our GL account. So let's close out of a couple tabs here. And I want to bring us back to our aging report. Refresh it. So it looks like it's still going ahead and processing. But in the case, looking at our aging report, it would be updated based on that payment we just went ahead and processed. So let's go ahead and recap by taking a look at our business process flow here. In this second section, we were talking about strictly financials. We went ahead and processed that shipment in a very simple manner. We didn't go through the pick, pack, and ship. We just went ahead and shipped it out. Created an invoice, sent it out to the customer. We posted it inside of our system, gave the payment processing, and then ultimately went ahead and posted it so that it hits our GL account. Now, just to tie it all up, we'll take a look at our customer 360. And this is a dashboard specifically created for all of our customers. Now, it doesn't have to be coordinated bikes. You can filter to a different customer or a different prospect. It gives you all the information about them, whether it be the order contact, the current standing with their credit, and it looks like, unfortunately, there are a lot of late orders. But good news is, looks like the bookings are up month to month. So you can take a look at all their sales information, the leads, the opportunities, your interactions with them, what type of customer orders they're particularly buying. And it looks like, they have POs here that they've put in. So it looks like in this case, they have a purchase order number that they want to be tagged to a sales order or customer order number. That's great. We can put that in our system. And lastly, if it's a service, whether it be maintenance or doing something out in the field, or maybe it's maintenance for a product, you can get all that information here as well. This just allows you to tie up all of that customer service information that you need to do to make sure your customers are happy, as well as from a sales perspective, you have all the information in one place. So if you're trying to figure out more about them, this is a good place to start. So you can target your, marketing messages, or maybe, just your talk track for a phone call when you go ahead and call them up to try to upsell them, or, you know, get another opportunity out there. So with that, you've seen the lead to cash process, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.